We will call the meeting to order. We'll call the EDA meeting to order. Kayla?
Perfect. Good evening, EDA board. As you'll see, we've kind of restructured the agenda. So I think this is maybe how we'll be doing it going forward. So I will still need a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll move to adopt the agenda.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Perfect. Do we have anybody here that would like to speak during the EDA public forum?
What time would that be after the meeting? At 6:45 or something?
Typically, our meetings only last 10 or 15 minutes, and then city council will open.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. And then all we have on our consent agenda tonight is the EDA meeting minutes from December 27th. In the original packet, I had accidentally attached the city council meeting minutes, but the printed out copy should be updated and correct, and we've moved the city council meeting minutes to the council agenda. So that's the only thing we have on our consent agenda tonight. And those are from December 27th.
Should I go get a motion to accept the minutes of the December 27th meeting? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. We have 3 informational reports tonight. The first one is just an update on the FabTech TIF note. So at the regularly scheduled city council meeting on Wednesday, December 27th, the city council held a public hearing for the business subsidy policy. There were no presentations from public attendees. Nobody spoke during that public forum. Then following that hearing, city council did formally adopt the business subsidy policy. So there are only kind of 3 documents that are remaining for us to kind of wrap up this TIF and to begin administering the TIF payments. The first is I have scheduled a time, we're going to try to do it on Monday, for Kenny to sign the investment letter. An investment letter just essentially states that the TIF note or the projections that we initially provided him as part of TIF were just estimates. So we are not promising that we are going to administer that entire amount of TIF. So the letter is just him acknowledging that fact and that they will take kind of whatever they get based on the valuation from the county assessor. So he'll have to sign that kind of acknowledgement. Following that, the mayor and the city clerk will sign the TIF note. And then the mayor and city clerk will have to sign a certificate of completion for the contract for development. And these are all relatively standard documents for a contract for development where TIF is involved. So these are kind of standard paperwork we must complete. For that to happen. So once we are all done with that, we'll begin administering the TIF payments. The first one will be back paid from 2023, and then we'll administer them biannually in February, and I believe in August for the remainder of the term of the TIF, which is 9 years. Are there any questions on the TIF? Perfect. Our second informational report is an update on the SEMCRA agreement for the Small Cities Development Program. Like the mayor mentioned at the last council work meeting, the city received a $5,000 invoice from SEMCRA, or the Southeastern Minnesota Multi-County Housing and Redevelopment Authority, for the Small Cities Development Program. In your packets, I attached a resolution that SEMCRA provided me. This is not the signed copy, but they do have a filed signed copy in their basement. But this was signed by the city council in 2019, agreeing to pay $5,000 as part of the program. We have also found invoices that were sent to SEMCRA for different amounts. So we're just getting some clarification from their office on if the payments for the program come to the city and then the city reimburses SEMCRA, and if there's also an ongoing administration fee that the city has to pay as part of the program. So I think the terms of the agreement right now are a little bit unclear, but I've reached out to their staff and they're doing some digging. So we'll have some clarification on how the program is being run through the city and kind of what the city is expected to pay as part of that program. So hopefully I'll have a little bit more clarification to provide you at the next EDA board meeting. But we are working on figuring that one out. But I did look at the most recent report that was provided to us on the program, and it looks like there are currently 6 projects under construction, and then 4 that are being evaluated, and 1 that is seeking bids. So if all of those move forward, we'll have 11 projects out of the projected 20 that are supposed to be done. So I say that's been a huge success so far. I think that's really great to see at least 11 homes in the community that have utilized the program to make renovations and updates. So hopefully we can get that report more regularly and kind of track the progress of the program. The last informational update I have tonight is on the League of Minnesota Cities Grants Navigator program. My intention was to have this on City Council's agenda for tonight, but I think we'll push that back to the February meeting. Essentially, I will need the City Council to approve a resolution that authorizes me to apply to the League of Minnesota Cities Grant Navigator program. The Grants Navigator program provides the city with $5,000 to hire a grant writer to assist us in going after state and federal funds. So essentially, the city has to just say, okay, I can apply for the program, I'll send in the application, and then we'll get the $5,000. So that will be coming forward City Council in February. All right, and then our new business item is to approve the Cranston Heights Park Community Survey. And this actually doesn't require action for tonight. I just put kind of that verb there to denote this as an action item, but we can table this, talk about it at a work meeting, have discussion tonight, and then discuss it further at a later point in time. But I know we've talked kind of at length about putting a survey out to the community to collect feedback on what people are looking for in their city parks. As I kind of started putting it together, my initial intention was to focus on Cranston Heights, but I ended up taking kind of an overarching view of the entire park system of the city. There's just 2 questions on demographics. It's whether the person lives in Goodhue, if they attend school in Goodhue, if they work in Goodhue. I think it's important to not try to just target residents of the city of Goodhue for the survey, but to also kind of get outside of our city limits and kind of capture the opinions of everybody who may be utilizing our park system, which could be, students who attend school here but maybe live out in the country or something like that. And then the only other demographic question I asked was about age. I think it's important to understand, what age groups are utilizing our park system, and if maybe we're isolating certain people from utilizing it, there's a way to make our parks more accessible for everybody. But I'm not sure if council or the EDA board feels like there's more demographic information that should be collected as part of the survey or that you guys would like to see. There are also questions on how often people utilize the park system. What are the primary things they utilize the park system for? If they don't utilize our parks, why not? If they would be interested in more formal recreation or sports programming, and then what other types of programs and facilities they would like to see. So again, I'm kind of open for feedback, and if you think this is a good start, if you want to add more questions, I refrain from making it too long. I think the longer surveys get, the more hesitant people are to fill them out. But if we have 20 multiple choice questions, I don't think that's prohibitive from people participating in it. So open for feedback and kind of what people are thinking or what information they'd like to gather on the park system. Or if you would like to see it more targeted specifically towards Cranston Heights, or kind of what we're looking at.
I guess the only thing for me is it says, what is your age?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I go to the parks with all my kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I think maybe, not necessarily mark only one oval, but mark all that apply. So that way you can get an idea of, how many, because if I put 45 in there, you're going to think I'm a 45-year-old person hanging out at the park, whereas I have a bunch of kids that go to the park as well. So I think that,
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely.
More than one, because I don't think my 6-year-old has access to this.
Is going to fill out the survey. Yeah, we can absolutely do that.
I'm wondering if we could take some time from now until our meeting, our work meeting, and then come together, and anybody who has any other additional questions, we could get them to you before that
Absolutely.
meeting, and we could kind of brainstorm, and look at those things,
Absolutely.
you know, what the rest of the council feels like.
Yeah.
Perfect. And I just want to point out the only other question I'll kind of call attention to would be number 9, which is kind of about how the parks and recreation facilities and programs should be funded. And I think, you know, if the city were to, for example, do a volleyball league in the summer, you know, if that should be free for people, if we wanted to do more programming, if there should be a fee involved. Another thing would be, you know, if we wanted to do movies or music in the park or something like that, if there should be, you know, an entrance fee versus just, you know, having it be an amenity that the city is providing. But I think that's important feedback to get to, and if, you know, how we should structure programs and different activities moving forward. But if you guys would be able to look this over, I'm happy to send out a digital version as well if that's easier for people. And then we can kind of take some time to think about it and revisit it at the work meeting on the 7th. Perfect.
Yeah, EDA president, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I can.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, Terry.
Oh,
I was
great, yeah, hey, Bob Bose here. Yeah, so, if you don't mind, President, just a question is back 2 items ago for Kaylin. I just wondered, Kaylin, can you email me a quick update about the issue of the invoice and then the payment, which didn't seem to match the invoice amount?
Yeah,
Can
yep.
you just fire me an email about that? That'd be great.
Yes, and I just scanned in those documents so I can kind of attach what I have and kind of break down for you what I'm seeing and what I think my concerns are with the payment and how
Sure.
things have been structured. So I can shoot you that email this evening.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Great. Any other questions for Kaylin? Okay, could I get a motion to adjourn?
Have that public forum, didn't somebody want to
Oh.
speak?
No, that's
I think that
on
was
ours.
Yeah, for council.
That's
Oh,
on
yeah.
regular council on the agenda. Okay? So could I get a motion to adjourn the EDA meeting?
So, I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Move on to the regular meeting, January 24th at 6:12 p.m. I'll call the meeting to order. We'll stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Could I get a motion to approve or amend the agenda?
I would like to add something under other,
Other?
and that would be the Goodhue High School all-night grad party. In the past, city council has donated a
We'll talk about it.
so that's what that's.
Okay, good grad party. Mr. Weckerland, would you want to be added under other?
Sure.
Okay. Fire department? Anything else? Okay. Could I get a motion to approve the amended agenda?
I'll move. Approve the amended.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Any old business? Anybody wants to discuss? Anything? Okay, 5, public comment. Mr. Dickey, that's you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
So my name is Martin Dickey. We just moved here from Colorado in May, bought a little townhome on 11th Street, one of the new ones for Bigelow Homes. And so I really appreciate, first of all, this community. We moved back here because of we have deep family roots here, Hay Creek, and then Goodhue here, and also Redming. So I was just wanted to, I guess, just you probably know this already, but we received a property tax statement at the end of November. We had no idea when we were buying a home, since it was a new home, how much property taxes would be. When we were looking for a home, we were looking in the Red Wing, and property taxes were $3,000, $3,600. I was like, this is kind of high, because we had a nice 3,000 square foot ranch home in Colorado, and our property taxes are around 2,000, so a little over 2,000. So we get a property tax here for a little townhome, and it's over $4,000. I'm like, this is crazy. So I just, you probably know this, but I mean, this is a little townhome. This is 1,377 square feet. 400 square feet is garage. So we have 977 square feet of living space and a $4,000 property tax. Now we share this home with Steve Mann, so it's a twin home. So for that one property, whoever is collecting $8,000. So I just think it's outrageous. So whatever you can do, I know that Goodhue, you've kept, the levy hasn't increased, so I certainly appreciate that. And I've talked to the other people involved, and there's nothing we can do about this year's property tax. But whatever you can do, going forward to help reduce property taxes in this area would be helpful. I mean, even bending the ears of the politicians in St. Paul and wherever, Goodhue County, because I mean, they just keep raising their taxes, and then mandates upon mandates upon mandates, and now we're going to have electric car mandate. And I mean, how am I going to afford an electric car? $60,000 to $80,000 plus. Now we have reports from Chicago that there's dozens and dozens of these cars at charging stations, and they can't even charge the cars in the cold weather. So they don't work in cold weather. It's like, whatever you can do to with politicians in St. Paul, it's like, stop, continue. And then last year I found out that they raised income taxes here by like 40% or something. So whatever you can do to help us out, because we're drowning here. So I just brought my property tax statement for you guys. Oops. So just so you can take a look. But thank you for listening to me.
All right, thank you. Okay. Great, next on the agenda, I have the minutes. There was a little bit of a error on my part putting the packet together when Kaylin and I were working on them today. So we do have the minutes from the December 27th meeting. So if we could look at the meeting minutes from there, and then could I get a motion to accept the minutes?
A motion to approve the December 27th meeting minutes.
May I get a second?
No move.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda, new business. The bond payment was due to Northland Securities on January 25th. So I just wanted to give you an update that Julie did cut that check last week just because she wasn't going to be here. So it was sent off. So that one is. I'm working with the bank on bond payment number 2, at First Farmers and Merchants Bank, I'm trying to get some final numbers on payouts and what's actually left on the bonds. So I've been working with, Mr. Altoff on that. So just to give us a better handle on what's exactly on those bonds. Okay. So, and like I said before, the bond payment to Northland Securities was a little over $206,000. The bond payments to First Farmers and Merchants, one is $90,000 roughly, and the other one is about $40,000. So some big numbers right now coming up. So, and I'll have some more definite numbers when we look at, when I get a chance to visit with Paul. And I did include the spreadsheet again from the bond payment. So if you look across, and they're all due on February 1st. So the actual, I misspoke, 99,000, and then 38, and then the 206. Okay. Questions on that? Way to go, Patrice.
This got me all mixed up.
Got you all hooked up. Okay,
Oh, here it is at the back. Okay,
there you go.
there we go.
Next on the agenda is Resolution 24-1, authorizing the sale of surplus property. This was, Bob had an opportunity to look at it as well. We use the same format. This is in relationship to the surveillance cameras that are located on Goody Car Wash. And followed up with the Sheriff's Department. They do not use those cameras, so the owner of the car wash was in agreement that they would be willing to keep them, so we don't have to take them down and repair the building. So, and we talked about the amount, so the cameras really weren't, they didn't have a whole lot of value to hold, but Chris is also working, and he may have already given the passwords to them. And so we just need the resolution filed. And so could I get a motion to accept the resolution declaring the equipment or property as surplus and authorizing the sale of the same?
So
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, I didn't hear back from Reese today. So he has been, what I do know though, is he has been very, very busy working on what is called a WIF. It's papers and filings that need to be done for the sanitary district. And every city, Wanamingo, Pine Island, and Zimrota are working on those documents. And he and Jason worked quite a bit today, and they're going back and forth with one of the people from the cities that we're working with. So I'm sure he was spending a lot of time on that, and he'll give us an update on that as well. Okay. So, I think next in your packet was the letter. I'm a little bit, I put this in here because it was kind of a last minute thing. We talked about the pump, the heat exchanger, and I kind of reached out to Joe and I said, hey, I said, maybe the Lions Club would be willing to chip in on that heat exchanger. So sent them a letter and they agreed to pay for the pump and also put the estimate in for the $1,000 installation. So they gave us a total of $7,000 towards that. So that's greatly appreciated from them. So
very
that's
nice.
very helpful because we can't open the pool without that pump. So, okay.
So it was an even 7?
Yeah, even 7. So there'll be a little bit. Okay. next on the agenda, I'd like to come back to the lot closing, because I have a couple things with that. So, city administrator position update. So we have had a couple, actually 3 people have applied for the city administrator, and I think there were 6 or 7. We were looking through them today. 6 or 7 for the administrative assistant. So they are coming in. And so I think we're gonna hold off a little bit on that administrator and see if we can get some more candidates, as they're just starting to come in. But for the administrative assistant, we have some pretty good qualified candidates. And so we could move forward and start that interview process. So what I would like is for the council to give Joe and I permission as the personnel committee to kind of move forward. I've already gathered, put together some questions and got those ready to go, but we just need to pick a day. We need to figure out, Kaylin has agreed also to be on that interview panel as well. And then try to get maybe another person or two. We'll see how that goes. We're gonna do some talking about that. But I think we're in a good place where we can do some interviewing now.
Good.
Any questions? About that? No?
Get her done.
Okay. Do we need a motion for us to give permission to go ahead and set up those interviews from the rest of the council as far as the personnel committee?
Yeah, Mayor and Council, you don't. I'm not sure I totally understand the process. So the process will be that the Personnel Committee interviews and then makes a recommendation to the council. Do I have that right? And if that's true, then no.
Okay.
You know, obviously, when you get to finalists, if you get down to 2 people, it's common that cities would want to have the full city council interview the finalists, but that's not required by law. That's just it's common practice. So, but even then, you don't need a motion to do that. So, so the process is fine. I wonder if you want to decide that you'll get it down to a couple of candidates, or do you want to have the committee make the final recommendation to the council?
No. In the past, we brought it back to the council with recommendations. And we'll do 2 rounds, so we'll get it down to a couple people and then pull some more people in. And then make a final decision.
That all sounds typical and standard, and yeah, no need for approval from the council to do it that way.
Okay. So we'll get moving on that. I know some of the candidates are anxious to hear back, so. All right. Next on the agenda is Lisa Redpenning. She is the Belchester clerk. So I had an opportunity to reach out to her and visit with her. She came in and she's willing to help us with our final kind of end of year books, so to speak. They are very, very complicated, to say the least. So lots of papers to be filed, lots of things to be filed with the county as far as assessments, what has been collected, you know, what is our indebtedness as far as our bonds. I had a long conversation with George Eilertson today. He also said he'd be willing to help on some of those things, but nothing comes free. And he said, well, I'm sure we could do the one document for roughly $1,000, no more. But I think Lisa also knows how to do that document. And so she is a clerk, so she could probably do that as well. So, but we just have to come up with an amount of money. She does not want to be paid like a part-time employee. She wants a contract because it's only going to be so many hours. So she would pay the taxes on her own money. And that's the way we're doing Julie at this time. So instead of a W-2, a 1099 is issued for them. So that's what she was looking at. Thoughts, council?
She knows what she's doing.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
definitely need to.
We
have
need
it.
the help.
We got-
Right, have to.
We gotta have it. Gotta have it.
We have to do it, so. Okay. So, do you have a parameter on how much per hour? I know she's gonna come back and barter back and forth.
Do we know what gets paid out in Belchester?
I have no idea, I only know that she does work 20 hours a month, so.
Was she aware of what our clerk was getting when she resigned or not?
Yes,
Okay, so she knows that.
So is that a starting point?
she said that would be the minimum.
Okay, well.
Okay, so-
so.
And I get that. I mean, she rattled off what we need to get done and what we need to get filed.
Yeah.
So we don't really have much of a choice.
She said how long it'll take?
She said not very long because she said, I'll have them all done before January 31st because that's when they're due. So I'm like,
Wow.
Is she talking 10 hours, 20 hours?
she didn't really,
5 hours?
she didn't really say. I
guess
think it depends on when she gets in that computer.
I guess I would say start at, what the former was.
Okay.
Would be my,
And then, I think we
Kind of
have to
negotiate.
work with her.
Right.
Okay.
she's kind of helping us out here.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
so, we,
So if we needed to go with the same amount that we're paying Julie, would that be reasonable, council?
Oh, yeah, we almost have to.
I think so.
I'd say we're in kind of a bind here,
Yeah,
so
we are.
we need to get a lot of stuff done. We
Yeah,
have to have a qualified person do it.
Okay,
Right, exactly.
that's good. Because I was gonna let her know tomorrow, and she said she could almost, she could come pretty quick,
Okay.
so. We
Yeah.
gotta get this stuff done, yes.
Yeah, there's deadlines to meet too, and she's gonna do it.
Yeah, Mayor?
Yep.
Sorry, yeah, I don't know the answer to the question, because I've never filled out the forms we're talking about, but I've been around cities for a long time, and I've heard a lot of folks that do fill out these forms for year-end, compliance, and I think the council member is kind of in the right ballpark. I think it's a 5, 10, 15, 20-hour thing, so I think that's sort of the right, your perspective is right. I can confirm that. I've never done it, but that's my understanding is that that's what you're talking about here.
She also is willing to help train the new person in the system because she uses CTAS in Belchester the same. So none of us know how to do that. So we're gonna have to reach out to those people who do. So, okay. I'll get on that tomorrow. All right. Okay, election judges. Patrice?
Well, we've talked to quite a few people, and we have 11 now, I think, on our list. And one will not be able to do the March 5th. So, I don't know, it just seems like we've got good people there that are gonna be able to, take over and do what has to be done, and they're excited about it, and it's really good.
Good. And
It's really
the
good.
one we are short on that date, would one of the county people be able to help fill in or no?
We'll have plenty of people.
Okay,
So,
sure.
and Pat Bean is going to be the head judge, and she's already gone gangbusters on her training. So,
Yeah,
and
it's
I
amazing.
called everybody yesterday to make sure that they have their PNP training, that's that Presidential National Primary Training. So, the ones that I have on the list and the dates, so I've made a spreadsheet, so, we can check them off as we go. So I think we're in a good place. Brenda Hinch said she would also help, So, and she's also gonna do the filing for the papers, which is key because we have to get this stuff out ahead of time and there's certain deadlines. So Brenda said, we normally do them together. So she's just gonna put the city of Goodhue and Goodhue Township. And then we'll share the cost. So then we know that we're meeting the deadlines because we don't wanna miss anything. Okay? We'll keep you updated. We had one meeting, we're all gonna go do training, and then we're gonna come back and have another meeting and go from there. Okay? Tobacco license. We kind of talked about that with the fee schedule, so it took me quite a bit of digging on Monday to find the tobacco license and find the fees for that. It was $50, it was $30 a few years back. Got into the system, found the invoices from previous years. So went ahead and filled out all that paperwork, mailed those. The C-stores already dropped off theirs and they picked up their license. So those are, the license are sitting there signed, Kyle signed them, I signed them, they're ready to go. So we're just waiting for Corner Bar and Dars Bar to send in for their tobacco license, and then those will be complete. So I just want you to know that with everything, without having a clerk, it's a lot of digging. So it took only about 3 hours to get that small project done. So bear with us, we're doing the best we can, trying to get all this stuff done, but at least we're staying ahead of the game right now, so. Okay? All right. Chris, do you have anything that you wanna add about the gas commission? I know you had your first meeting.
No, nothing
Impressing?
impressive.
Okay, I think in the back of your packets, there is a, I asked Kyle if he would just kind of come up with the expenditures for December. Because remember when we had that overpayment? They had charged, the city had charged the gas commission. It ended up to be like 8,000 something. So that has since been refunded back to the gas commission and then with the expenses. So I just wanted you to see that everything's kind of been reconciled on that end. And so Kyle put that together so you could see that with the numbers. Any questions? No? Okay. Nothing? Public Works report, Jason was out ill for part of the day today, and then he was busy working with Reese. So, I didn't get one, but he's been busy working on, the sanitary district paperwork. He's been working on this sewer system. They did have a major snafu this weekend, with some, sewer pipes that were rooted up. So Zimbrota came and helped them on Monday right away. And they spent most of the morning, but they got that fixed. But he said he would send something, if he hasn't already, it could be in your email. Okay? All right, we're moving right along here tonight. Good. Okay, let's see what they do with that. So as far as, the mayor update, did you take my paper? No? Okay, so, I have been working with Axon. Axon is the body camera software people. And so we have money that we have to pay to them to fulfill the contract because we exited out of the software contract ahead of time. But then there's also part of that we'll get back. So they're working on refunding that, but that's, nobody lets you cancel a contract easily. So have to send them a letter with the letterhead, and, you can't get in the system because we don't have a password to get in the system, but, so working on that. So I think we've got that pretty close. So we should be getting some money back there. Bob, do you want to address the Elvers split? I know it's out of our hands. All the paperwork came and we did our part and sent it down, so it should be good to go, correct?
Yeah, Mayor and Council, you approved, at your most recent meeting, the split, not a big deal, it's an estate planning driven thing. The details always matter in these things, and just getting the stamp on the deed, so just for edification of the council, when you approve lot splits in your city, within your city's boundaries, there actually has to be a certification given to the county that says you did that says you approved it. And the way that's typically done is a stamp that actually gets placed on the deed that would convey the land that's been split from one party to another. And so just getting the stamp onto the deed, the final original version of the deed, obviously that's a little bit of a complication. So, I like things to happen with government as quickly as possible, but of course, getting the original deed and getting the stamp in the same room at the same time, so they can be stamped, is a little bit of a dance that we have to do. So anyway, that's been done, and so the split, you already proved it, but that's been accomplished now, and so yeah, there's nothing else to say, Mayor.
Okay, so the other thing on that, we learned that the seal that we have for the city, because it's a big deal, you stamp it and it embosses it in there, it's really very outdated because it refers to Goodhue as a village. And so we have to get a new seal. So I think Jean Short was gonna help. She was gonna send me in the right direction, Bob, to get an updated seal for the city. So this one's pretty outdated and antiquated, so we'll get working on that. Okay?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah. We had a lot closing yesterday at 1008 Joyce Avenue. So that is in your packet on that closing statement. So I just kind of wanted you to see that on how the money was distributed there. And so that is completed, and we'll be receiving a check at some point in the mail. Will that be in the mail, or does that go automatically into the checkbook? Bob, I think it's by check to City Hall, from what Terry, I thought she said. I think
Yes,
so.
I think this has all been done electronically, so yes.
Okay, so that's
Yep.
good. So that one's done. All right. Vacation and sick leave accrual is complete and implemented. So Kyle and I worked on that and got the numbers in there. We were hoping that it would subtract when the checks were printed and it was all entered into the system. We're working on that glitch, but at least everything was calculated out. We got the sick leave and the vacation leave all figured out, and everybody's happy with what they're getting. So that's done and completed anyway. Okay?
I have a question on the lots.
Yes.
So we're gonna get this check. So it probably goes into the general fund, but what makes sure it gets paid off on the bond?
We'll make sure that it gets that
Because
money.
in
We're
previous-
counting on that
previous
money to
times it
pay.
has not.
They were putting in the general fund, we can't do that.
Yeah.
It has to-
Yeah. We'll make sure that that money is earmarked
Yeah.
for the bond. Yep. Okay. W-2s. So Pine Island graciously offered their finance person to come up on Monday and help do the W-2s. So Kyle and Carol were able to get in the system and print so you all have a copy of your W-2s. There was 58 of them. And I said this, I said, where do we have 58 people who are working for us? But apparently,
You know,
swimming pool, there were
temporary
some,
people, yeah,
I guess.
well, there was only some who worked less than 10 hours. You know, 3-4 hours, they still get W-2, so, but those are completed. So he's working now on getting everything into the state system, and he'll give us an update on that. Okay. Disability insurance, the cancellation. That is a nightmare. Because there's nobody who's had access and there was never an account set up as far as an online account, so that we know of. So to get in there, trying to do that, and so it takes like many steps. So we finally should be able to get in there now and reassign that, so then you can get in and get a form to cancel this. I do believe that the medical insurance should have been canceled as of 1/1. And so, but I haven't heard back from Blue Cross Blue Shield yet on that, but that goes kind of slow. But we'll find out when we get that next statement real soon here. But working on that disability insurance. So again, this is a great lesson to us, and Chris is working on that password manager, that we've got to do better with passwords and codes, because we can't get into anything, because nobody knows them. So it's like reinventing the wheel and then trying to get somebody to send you a new password, reset. You have to sign away in blood to get on there. So it's a lot of phone calls. So, okay. Any questions on that? Okay. The next ones I have, the 14th, as we know, is the first day of Lent, and it's also Valentine's Day. So we're looking at moving that work meeting to the 7th. Does that work in everybody's schedule, council?
Yeah.
Okay,
To the 7th?
the 7th? McCray, you got that? Okay. So, and then typically in the past, the previous councils have always moved to start the meetings at 5 o'clock during the Lenten season, in hopes to give people an opportunity if they would like to attend Wednesday night services. Is that something that you want to continue? That would start with our last meeting in February. Is that the 24th, 28th? 28th?
Yeah.
So February 28th, we would go to 5 o'clock.
yeah, that's a great idea.
Is that good?
Gives everybody the opportunity.
Okay. Could I get a motion to change the calendar and the start times for the council meetings?
I'll motion to change the times.
Okay. Can I get a second? Second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
You said the 7th was what time?
6 o'clock, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Good. Okay. Next on other. Okay, how about Derek? Yeah. We'll take some notes here.
All right, well, sorry about all the confusion.
No problem.
I'll do my best. As you guys all know, there's an allotment of money that was sent out for public safety aid. I believe Goodhue was what, 55,000 roughly.
Correct.
We're just coming as the fire department, just to let you guys know how big a need we have over there right now. We are right now with this new truck. We purchased about $22,000 worth of new tools that we are paying for, figuring out ways to through fundraising and everything like that. We're bringing on obviously 4 new members. There might be possibly a 5th here in the near future from what we've been finding out lately. And a set of turnout gear right now is right around $5,000 a piece. So, there's $20,000, possibly $25,000 just worth of turnout gear there as well. And we have, sounds like we've been given a little bit of money towards our extrication equipment. We are looking at updating our extrication equipment to battery powered, which is a lot more user friendly. It's the way it is now, and we're hoping to equip that on our new truck. And so we have a lot of things coming up right now, and we know you guys got a lot on your minds and a lot of things going on with that, but we just want to make sure we don't get left out. We are doing all we can do on our fundraising and going after grants and every penny we can go for too. So I guess when you guys decide how you're going to spend that money, just keep in mind we have a lot of needs over there. So any questions, I guess?
Go ahead.
The turnout gear, is that something that qualifies under that 55,000?
Yes,
Yes.
that falls under equipment. Yep. So,
All the old gear, what's the plan with that?
so right now there is no old gear. Some of the members right now do have 2 sets.
No, I'm talking about like the stuff that was on the old truck.
So there wasn't stuff.
Oh.
So that other truck was pretty bare bones. So going forward with this, there are a few things. Most of it, what is left that we weren't able to reuse, really there is no value to it. It's rather, it's even older than, quite a bit older even than I am. It's, and that truck was not really, I guess, in any kind of terms equipped to go on and do any kind of firefighting on its own. It was solely going to be a secondary backup, where now if you legally have a pumper in action, it needs to have, there's certain tools that by law legally we have to have on there. So in order to get up to NFPA, as close as we can to NFPA standard, and to actually have it be a usable truck. So we get called from mutual aid. We don't take our frontline pumper. We never did, because that's where all our tools were. So when we go and help mutual aid, we'd be borrowing everybody else's tools, because we didn't have the stuff. And that's really taxing on another department when you're coming, and so we're equipping this truck, and we knew it was going to be expensive, but it's really expensive, and we've been finding means. But like I said, if there's another, we got to look at every source, and I just want to make sure you guys are well aware that we're in need. It's not just that, but even our we did get 1 new truck, but we have an average aging fleet over there, 20 plus years old trucks. So that's another thing that's not going to go away.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we're buying another truck right now, but we have many needs over there right now, and I just want to make sure you guys are well aware of that when you make your decisions.
Is there any status, or has that other one sold at auction yet?
So it's on auction right now on GovDeals, and it's
not very much, is it?
not right now.
Or $3,000 or something?
Yeah, it's and we know it's a 1991 Ford L9000. They don't make there's not the resale's not there. It's
Yeah, I didn't know.
we've kept it to its extent of life, and it'll show that at auction. I can't say what it'll bring, because you never know, it's an auction, but we hope to get as much out of it as we possibly can. That's why we went with this auction service, so that we could potentially get as much as we possibly could out of it.
Could you, I know when I talked to Travis, I asked him if he could maybe get some estimates on that turnout gear.
Yep.
So then we'll get that and
Yep.
we'll have that at our work meeting.
Yep.
And then look at all of those things, because even with the, and Travis and I talked about the money for the physicals.
Yep.
CA, track all that
Yep.
with that.
Yep.
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 So get that all to us.
And a little update: our 4 new people so far working really well. Everything's coming back the way we want it. They've actually started first responder training. They're set to that should be wrapping up next month, and then they'll be starting in their fire 1 and 2 training. So we're
Is
excited.
that first responder training and fire training, is that covered under the grant from Riverland, or is that,
So there's no grant from Riverland,
okay with
but the first
State.
responder training is that there's no coverage on that. That we pay for, or comes out of the city. That's part of the training.
Yep.
The fire 1 and 2, which is the most expensive, that's a reimbursable. After they pass their fire 1 and 2, that training is reimbursable. Just like all the other stuff, fire training, all the other training stuff we hand in, it's a similar form, if not the same form, and it's all reimbursable.
Because I just sent one form up for reimbursement, blocking and cribbing.
Oh,
Is
yeah,
that
the
what it
cribbing
was?
and blocking, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
and then I see that there's another.
Yeah, there was a med compass, and that's our that's so we get our mass fit test,
Yeah.
and that's an annual,
Yep.
annual deal. That's
So just so the council knows, those dollars that aren't covered by the grant money, they can be used with that safe money. So all of those things, so, we'll look at that.
yep. Because there's, like I said, it's
Good thing.
one nice thing with the reimbursement that we apply for every year that we end up getting. It saves the city thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars too. So remember that grant money is, we try to use as much of it as possible. And that's why all our training, majority of our training comes through college facilities. So we actually have new and the new, kind of what's new in the fire service and whatnot, being brought to Goodhue versus trying to train within. And we're very fortunate to have that state aid pay for all that. So otherwise, I know the agreement is, the city pays for the training, and that'd be a big cost if it wouldn't be for that. So.
Any other questions for Derek?
Do we have the list of all the things that we can pay for? Do we have?
It's on the website,
And I did a little research on the League of Minnesota Cities. They got a nice write-up on a lot of information on there too. So
It's out there.
so actually, I pulled a lot of my information off was right from the league. So
Any other questions for Derek? Okay, so
Okay.
I've got that down for a work meeting
okay,
on my paper.
sounds good.
We'll put this on there.
Okay, I'll make sure you get that information and
Yeah,
Yep.
get that to us, so.
okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Because I know you guys are gonna you want those guys to go out, because that's part of the mentoring.
So, yeah,
They're
so,
gonna have to have their.
I'm waiting for one more medical to come back.
Okay.
And as soon as that comes back, everybody else is qualified. Everything's back. So I'm just waiting on one, and then so we're hoping by next month they'll be going out. We'll be giving them pagers, and they'll be starting to go out because they'll be bringing them around departments. So that's a very valuable tool for them to be on while they're going through training, because otherwise you really get thrown to the wolves at training because you just don't even know what they're talking about if you haven't had some experience. So it's kind of what we've been starting to do here the past few years, and it's working out very well. So
I may need those, the physicals, because
Yep,
I'm working on the, workman's comp.
I was wondering about that. So I have everything in a file, each person in a file. So you just got to tell us what you need,
Okay,
and because we're gonna have to. I'm sure there's gonna have to be the workman's comp and all that stuff. That's
yeah. 'cause we're
Well, I've been
just
trying to
doing
keep you guys as much in the loop because we want to do this right and legal and make sure everybody's covered. So,
that. We appreciate that.
Yep.
Thanks.
all right, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Eric. Okay. Graduation.
So the Goodhue all-night grad party is, they do a raffle every year, and it's, raffle off different things from different areas. And in the past, the city has donated one family swimming pass.
Mhm.
And the all-night grad party is asking if the city is willing to donate another family pass to the all-night grad party this year.
Mhm.
And if that's the case, sure, we need a motion to do that.
I don't think that's an issue.
I would guess not.
No.
Good,
No.
yep.
Can I get a motion to contribute a family pass to the all-night graduation party? So moved. Can I get a second? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, bills. Yay. Bob, this is usually where we boot you off if you don't want to be here for bills.
Mayor, it's been so long since I saw you, I don't want to go away.
Yeah, we have, it's been a long time. Yeah.
Right, well, thanks, everybody, and have a good night.
Okay,
Thank you too, Bob.
Good night.
Okay, so to give you an update on the bills, because Julie wasn't gonna be here this week, she had to get these bills done ahead of time. So they're done, and many of them had to be sent. So just to be upfront, we're voting on bills that have already been sent, but these are our standard bills. And so, they're not ones that we can't pay. We have to pay them. So,
And that was the $7,200 total, the ones that are already out.
well, it's actually, if you look on the back, it's 239,
Well, yeah, but that's,
but yeah,
yeah.
so.
That's a lot, right?
Yeah, well, no,
That-
because
that was
we
that
have
one.
our insurance bill that's gonna come from League of Minnesota Cities. I happened to catch that, 33,000.
I'm around.
We've got another bill. There are some big bills coming in this time of the year, so. We've been fortunate it hasn't been snowing.
Yeah.
We're not paying a lot of overtime. But I want you to keep in mind that that tractor is gonna come sooner than later. We have a big down payment on that, and then we'll go on that payment, so all of those things are kind of coming down the pipe, so. Okay,
And what was the ambulance service one, what is that?
That's what we have to pay
That's-
a year for.
That's yearly.
that's our yearly,
Yeah, I don't know if that's twice a year or a year.
that's based on that population that I gave you last
Yeah,
week,
yeah,
last time,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so that's
Yeah,
that.
that was twice a year.
We are working too, I've been rather dismayed at how many things we're paying tax on.
Yeah.
So I asked Jason to really look at all of the different accounts that we have and to get those tax exempt and get PO numbers for those.
Yeah, every little bit helps. It's a lot.
So,
So, do we know why the gas commission fund is more expensive than everybody else's?
show me what page you on.
It's on page 103.
103. Oh,
Yeah, on the other packet.
as far as the $70.79,
Yeah.
that's his cell phone,
Oh,
I think.
Right, but
I don't know,
don't we buy the phones outright?
we do, that's just for their monthly line.
So I'm wondering if he has, I'm just kind of curious why they're all not the same.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I would like to revisit that Verizon and see if there's, a better way to manage that. I think there's ways that we can tighten up the budget after I've been in the system. I like I said last time, I'm a little concerned about that, so I think we need to look at that. So,
And it should just, once you log in, it should just give you a breakdown of what each phone
correct, but
dollars going
again-
towards each.
getting in the system,
Yeah.
so we're working on that. Chris is doing a great job getting us in. We're working on that. So Chris did take over, he is the admin on the Facebook page as well. So it is, you can see, he just submitted a bill for the monitor out in the lobby there. So, and I've had good, good feedback from the community. They were like, that's probably a smart idea. So they thought it was okay. So can I get a motion to pay the bills?
I'll motion to pay the bills.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Oh, Jason, he snuck the report in the back here.
Yes, it was on him,
Yeah. He comes in here and sneaks things in here all of a sudden.
You said it wasn't one, I was like,
You should have spoke up.
I said I have one right here.
I'm always telling, quit messing with my papers, you're gonna get them all mixed up. Okay. So. Jason did say as soon as we get that loader, then we're gonna have the county come and get the other one right away.
Yep.
And get it out of here, so they've spent minimal on that. For hours,
Yeah, it's not.
I know, but they've been, pushing a little bit here and there, pushing the sand up and pushing the salt up, so. Yeah.